So apparently the one day that I'm stuck in the office and then have to attend to a family affair afterwards is the exact date Capcom decides to announce the Mega Man thing I've been waiting for. Excellent. Well, I can at least get my reaction, just a bit delayed. Alright, I know the trailer exists, I was gonna try to hook this up all nice and fancy, and then I saw it was only 25 seconds long, so maybe I don't try so hard. I know that the collection is coming out, and I know that it's coming sometime next year, but that's all I know. So we'll see if there's anything illuminating here. I might have that up too loud. Okay, so it's all 3 to 7 games, depending on how you frickin' count it. Ay. Cool. You have told me just the basics. Pretty much just what I saw by Googling it, dear Lord. But what was I expecting with 25 seconds? That's kinda neat, I guess. This won't make much of a reaction. Man, that really wasn't much, other than the title of the collection, the games included, both of which we could have guessed, and a new piece of art, which actually is really nice. We know that it's coming for Switch, PS4 and 5, Xbox and PC, which is good information to have, even if it's not too surprising. We didn't get a release date though, just that it's coming next year. I'm hoping that means early next year, but apparently the time between announcement and release was longer than I remember, about 9.5 months for the Battle Network collection, so we could be looking at the middle of next year if this follows the same time frame. Different package, so could be shorter, could be longer, guess we'll see. Moving on, I haven't watched the Direct, but I'm told that it was included in the Japanese presentation, but not the English one. On one hand, this really was a could have been an email situation. On the other, Mega Man's been starving for games. This is a big deal to a lot of people. Couldn't you have spared not even half a minute? As for how big of a deal, well, that's a bit open to interpretation. I saw a Reddit post a while back discussing what the least popular Mega Man franchise was, and most said Star Force. I personally think it was ZX. Star Force at least got a crossover with Battle Network, 3 games, kind of, and even an anime. But that does kind of indicate that this might not be on a lot of people's radar. For me personally, while the top of my wish list would be for a new game, either something mainline other than Zero or Tyson, this actually was my most wanted after that. Sorry, Legends fans, I just have other ways to record those. It's been about 2 years since the Battle Network Legacy Collection, so I have actually been anticipating a new compilation since the beginning of the summer. It felt like we were about due one. And this and Legends were the only 2 series left, though I could see Capcom putting together some re-releases of some of the spin-offs once those are both out of the way. But let's focus on Star Force for now. Are these games worth getting excited about? I probably should preface this by saying that, while I have beaten all of these, it has been ages, though I did fiddle with each of them this morning to refamiliarize myself with the gist of things. The series follows Geo Stellar, a kid with severe depression, due to his father going out for milk in space, and never returning. He starts snapping out of his funk due to 2 primary reasons. The first, a trio of busybodies from his class force their friendship and school activities onto him. The other is an encounter with an alien creature, Omegasis, who he confused with to become Mega Man, the 2 working together to foil the plans of other, more hostile alien beings. For gameplay, it'll probably be easiest to compare things to Battle Network. You travel around the human world as Geo, but fusing with Omegasis, you can access the Wave World. I guess you could compare it to Cross Fusion, but mechanically, it's not too different from the net and various computer dungeons in Battle Network. Instead of battle chips, you get battle cards, 6 popping up at once on the lower screen, and you being able to make combos based on placement, duplicates, and if they're support cards. You can use these and your Buster in combat, the Buster charges automatically when you're not firing it, and you're still on a grid, but rather than an overview, you're in the back, facing forward. You move from side to side, though you can also lock on to jump forward and use a card point blank, which is essential for melee weapons. You can counter for a bonus card, as well as guard, so while similar, they've definitely tweaked Battle Network's formula. I think it'll be a lot of fun for players of the previous series that have never touched this one to try out. As for the dual screen functionality, you mostly have the action on one screen, then your current hand of cards on another for combat, and basic profile information while wandering around. I think it'd be pretty easy to do the ZX thing again, putting the less important screen in the corner, though maybe flip the card selection up to the main display for in-between turns. They could also keep the touchscreen stuff if they wanted, again like how ZX lets you wiggle a cursor around with the secondary joystick and click that in to serve as a tap, but as long as I'm not forgetting anything, they could also just skip out on that and let you use regular inputs instead. I imagine we'll see the pseudo touchscreen stuff come back, but I guess we'll find out closer to release. For the individual titles, there's 3, 8, 7. It's complicated, probably more than it needs to be. Mega Man Star Force has 3 versions, Leo, Dragon, and Pegasus. Each one grants a specific transformation, a few unique battle cards, and a boss battle. And this one rocks. When it came out, I was on a Mega Man forum and we would play and talk about this one a lot. We were huge into it. I even 100%ed it, that's how invested I was. I got Leo because the other 2 were too hard to find. That's what gets me about people saying these weren't popular. It might not have had longevity, but I swear it was at least a fad. For the individual versions, Leo was common, it was fairly hard to find Dragon, and I swear Pegasus didn't exist. Was this just a me thing? Anyway, Dragon probably would have been my first choice, and I thought I did find a used copy of it at some point, but I can't seem to locate it. My point is, I did like this enough that I would have played it twice. Regardless, this game rocks my socks. It alone will make the collection worth playing, in my opinion. Star Force 2, though, I had less enthusiasm for. It had another 3 versions, but I guess Capcom realized that was too expensive, so they smushed them together into 2 cartridges, Zerker X Ninja and Zerker X Saurian. 2 versions per copy, so you could just pick which one you wanted specifically after starting up the game. You get a transformation based on one of these, and in case you're wondering, Zerker is short for Berserker, Ninja is Ninja, and Saurian is Dinosaur. I didn't get as much into this one, and while that might be due, at least in part, to my online friends not playing it much either, if all of us lost interest, it might have been a little underwhelming. I don't think it was a bad game per se, just that it didn't do enough to up the stakes. Star Force 3 has 2, just 2, no matter how you slice it, versions, Red Joker and Black Ace. This is the one with 5 billion different transformations. I think this game was pretty good, but because of my waning interest, I didn't pick it up. I got a used copy of Black Ace years later and just kinda slammed through it so that I could say that I beat every mainline title, but I didn't really give it the attention and respect it deserved. Yeah, that's right, we didn't get a Star Force 4, and I was part of the problem. I think it was pretty good, and I'm very excited to give it a proper look with the collection. Between the different forms and the card selection screen being a little more complex, I imagine 3 will be the go-to for competitive, but given my own surface level experience with it, this is just an educated guess. The website confirms that there will be online, which is no surprise. They added it in for the Battle Network collection, and Star Force, being on the DS, actually had that built in, so it'd be an omission if it wasn't. This should allow for battling and trading cards, but even more significant, the reason we were so obsessed with the original game is the Brother Band system. This allows you to get bonuses from your friends. It lets you use some of their favorite cards or even their best combo for big damage, gives you bonus HP based on how many HP memories they have, and some other extras. The coolest bit though has to do with boss clear times. Like in Battle Network, you can get chips, or cards in this case, that summon bosses for an attack. Version 3 cards have a base damage, but if you can take them down fast enough, that'll increase. Records are shared among brother bands, so you can get insanely powerful cards just by being friends with the right person. This turns things into a mix of competitive and cooperative. Of course, you want to have the best times, but if one of you is particularly good at taking on a specific opponent, they can still contribute, even if they're not the best overall. You can even divvy up assignments. In my own group, there was one guy who had about 3/4 of the best time. I was behind him with 2 or 3 of my own, and then we had one guy who specialized in taking down Crown Thunder. Not sure if anyone else had any. My point is, I was the second best, and with that on top of my max HP, my brother band was very desirable. Put in your friend request now. The other thing is, you can only have up to 6 brother bands at a time, so you need to be at least a little selective. Don't worry, if you don't have anyone to connect with, you can still bond with NPCs, and depending on what ability they bestow, you might even want to save a slot for them. I think one had air shoes. Still, The best bonuses tend to be from serious players, so forming a group is a wise idea. And yeah, while this might sound minimal to some, especially if your only goal is to hit credits, we had a ton of fun with this and it fostered some real camaraderie, so I'm looking forward to its return. You could also design your own profile picture. No drawing penises if this feature returns. This is a children's game. The big thing I'm wondering about though is what the difficulty option will be. Classic Legacy had rewind and save states, then checkpoint saves, X had Rookie Hunter mode, Zero ZX had checkpoint assist and casual scenario, and Battle Network had Buster Max. Since this does use similar gameplay to Battle Network, they could do that again, but they normally don't do the same thing twice. At the very least, they tweak it slightly. I'll throw out some guesses. Maybe something else to make the grinding easier, like guaranteed card drops, or ways to reliably refight bosses without needing to randomly encounter their ghost. Maybe they'll make it easier to make combos, like letting you select extra cards outside of the normal restrictions, redrawing, or re-rolling what card you get from a friend's brother band. Or maybe they'll let you download some super powerful brother bands, to up your HP and give you extra abilities. Speaking of, I'm expecting galleries, sound tests, and extra support downloads, like the event chips in the Battle Network collection, so even if the brother band thing isn't the difficulty option, it might still make it in. Or maybe they will just use Buster Max again, do something I haven't thought of, or just forgo the extra mode designed to ease people into the gameplay altogether. As I mentioned earlier, this Legacy collection was something that I was really hoping for. I have so many ideas in the works, ranking all the Mega Man series, which ones most need sequels, how they all handle romance, and, of course, ranking the Mega Man Star Force games. The problem is, I just haven't played any of these in like 10 years. So while I remember the broad strokes, a lot of the details have faded from memory. One of my immediate plans was actually to look into an emulator to stream these, and then polish off some of my scripts. With this collection coming next year though, I'll probably put that off for a bit longer so that I can play them with this format, then hit the ground running. I might even try taking time off when it comes out to get through the first game within a week, then start cranking out reviews, broader Mega Man topics involving all the series, and more focused Star Force discussions. So if you are interested in seeing that, be patient just a little bit longer. And if not, well, it ain't like the platformers are going anywhere, I'll try to balance things. But with that, we can start wrapping up. Are you excited about the collection? Have you played any of these before? Which was your favorite? What do you think the easy mode gimmick will be? And were you maybe hoping for Legends instead? Thanks as always for watching, and maybe consider subscribing if you're into retro games, especially Mega Man. We are so close to having all the mainline stuff on modern consoles.